She said yes, Obiora whispered to himself, clutching the phone like it was a lifeline. He paced his small apartment in Yoba, Lagos, feeling his heart pound with both joy and uncertainty. It wasn't just about the proposal, it was about whether they could truly bring their two families, with all their differences, under one roof. Obiora and Miriam's story wasn't just about love, it was about resilience, patience, and the power of unity. It all began in their second year at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Obiora, a lanky computer science student with a deep love for coding and a sharp sense of humor, caught Miriam's attention during a group assignment in their elective sociology class. Miriam, a soft-spoken yet confident mass communication major, had a way with words that made even the most mundane topics seem profound. During their first meeting, Obiora had tried to break the ice with a corny joke about data science and love. Miriam rolled her eyes but couldn't help the smile that crept onto her face. By the time the project was submitted, they had become inseparable. Their friendship blossomed into something deeper by the end of their third year. While others saw Miriam as the reserved girl from a middle-class family in Enugu, Obiora saw her as his anchor. Likewise, Miriam admired Obiora's drive and intellect, even though he sometimes frustrated her with his carefree attitude toward deadlines. What made their relationship stand out was the approval they received from both families early on. Miriam's parents, though initially skeptical, were won over when Obiora visited their home in Enugu with a carton of malt, a box of apples, and a humble yet heartfelt demeanor. He even managed to fix their faulty generator, earning her father's respect instantly. Obiora's parents, on the other hand, loved Miriam's grace and warmth. His mother often joked that Miriam reminded her of herself as a young woman, calm, diligent, and fiercely supportive. Obiora's father, a retired principal, would often call Miriam Nwa Eda, a term of endearment that made her feel like part of the family long before any formal union. However, their love wasn't without its challenges. In their final year, Miriam faced a health scare that tested their bond. She had been diagnosed with typhoid and malaria simultaneously, and Obiora became her shadow, nursing her back to health between classes and exams. Miriam's mother often called to thank him, her voice thick with emotion. "You're a good man, Obiora," she'd say. "God will bless you for the way you've cared for my daughter." After graduation, life threw another curveball. Obiora got a job offer in Lagos, while Miriam had to stay in Enugu for her mandatory NYSC service. The distance was hard, but daily phone calls and weekend visits kept their love alive. By the time Miriam completed her service year, Obiora had saved enough to rent a modest apartment in Lagos where they could start their life together. The proposal was simple yet heartfelt. Obiora had taken Miriam to their favorite suya spot under the stars. As they shared a plate of hot suya and cold drinks, he pulled out a small velvet box. "Miriam," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "I've known since the day we met that you're my forever. Will you marry me?" Her "yes" was followed by tears, laughter, and a phone call to both sets of parents. The families came together effortlessly, with both sides contributing to the wedding planning. It wasn't a lavish affair, but it was rich in love and tradition. Their union was celebrated with dancing, heartfelt speeches, and the blending of two families who had grown to adore each other as much as the couple themselves. Today, Obiora and Miriam are not just husband and wife, they are partners in every sense of the word. They've built a life rooted in mutual respect, shared dreams, and the unwavering support of their families. Their love story is a reminder that sometimes, the most extraordinary love stories are the ones built on the simplest foundations: kindness, understanding, and a little bit of suya. Years into their marriage, Obiora and Miriam often found themselves reminiscing about the little moments that shaped their journey. Late-night study sessions at Nsukka, their long phone calls during NYSC, and the quiet evenings in their small Lagos apartment when they had little but were filled with hope and dreams. Miriam, now a senior journalist at a reputable media house, often shared how Obiora's unwavering belief in her talents pushed her to reach for bigger goals. She'd recount how, in their early days, he would stay up late helping her brainstorm ideas for articles, even though he barely understood the world of mass communication. Obiora, on the other hand, had grown into a sought-after tech consultant. His knack for problem-solving had earned him accolades, but he always credited his success to Miriam's grounding influence. "She's the CEO of my heart and my biggest investor," he joked to friends and colleagues. Their families remained as close as ever. Holidays were a mix of trips to Enugu to spend time with Miriam's parents and visits to Obiora's hometown in Anambra. The two families had blended so seamlessly that Miriam's father once quipped, "We're not in-laws anymore, we're one big family." The couple also became a source of inspiration in their community. Young couples often sought their advice on navigating relationships. Miriam would smile and say, "It's not magic. It's about patience, communication, and choosing to love each other every day, even when it's not easy." But their story wasn't just about personal success. Together, they started a small foundation to support underprivileged university students. They named it the Nsukka Dream Initiative in honor of the place where their journey began. The foundation provided scholarships, mentorship, and resources to help students achieve their dreams. One afternoon, as they sat on their veranda watching their 2-year-old daughter, Adeobi, play with her toy blocks, Miriam turned to Obiora with a smile. "Do you ever think about how far we've come?" "All the time," Obiora replied, taking her hand in his. "And I wouldn't trade a single moment of it for anything." Their life wasn't perfect, but it was filled with love, laughter, and a shared commitment to making each day better than the last. For Obiora and Miriam, their story was proof that when love is nurtured with patience and sincerity, it becomes unbreakable. And as their daughter giggled under the golden evening sun, they knew they were creating a legacy of love that would inspire generations to come. Years passed, and Obiora and Miriam's bond only deepened. Their family grew, welcoming a second child, a boy they named Chijioke, after Obiora's late grandfather. Adeobi, now 5, took on the role of big sister with pride, often helping Miriam in the kitchen or following Obiora around as he tinkered with gadgets. Parenthood brought new challenges, but it also strengthened their partnership. Miriam, ever the planner, handled the children's schedules and milestones with precision, while Obiora, with his easygoing charm, became the fun parent, always ready with a joke or a spontaneous trip to the park. They balanced each other perfectly, navigating the demands of raising a family while pursuing their individual goals. Professionally, they continued to soar. Miriam's investigative journalism earned her national recognition, including an award for her exposé on corruption in the education sector. Obiora's tech consultancy expanded into a full-fledged company, employing young talents and offering tech solutions to businesses across Africa. Yet, despite their busy lives, they made it a point to keep their family at the center of everything they did. Their foundation, the Nsukka Dream Initiative, became a beacon of hope for many. Every year, they hosted a mentorship program for university students, often sharing their own story to inspire others. During one such event, a young woman approached Miriam with tears in her eyes. "Ma, your story saved me," she said. "I was on the verge of dropping out, but hearing how you and your husband overcame your challenges gave me the courage to keep going." Moments like that reminded Obiora and Miriam why they started the foundation. They weren't just building their own lives, they were giving back to the community that had shaped them. Back home, their parents continued to be their biggest cheerleaders. Miriam's father, now retired, would often call Obiora to discuss football or offer unsolicited advice about running a business. Obiora's mother, still sprightly, doted on her grandchildren, often spoiling them with gifts and tales from her youth. Life, as always, had its ups and downs. There were tough times when work pressures or parenting challenges tested their patience. but they had learned to lean on each other and communicate openly. When disagreements arose, they addressed them with the understanding that they were on the same team. On their 10th wedding anniversary, Obiora surprised Miriam with a vow renewal ceremony. Held at a serene garden in Lagos, it was an intimate affair attended by close family and friends. As Obiora stood before Miriam, holding her hands, he said, "Miriam, every day with you has been a blessing. You've been my anchor, my partner, and my greatest love. I promise to keep choosing you, every day, for the rest of my life." Miriam, her voice trembling with emotion, replied, "Obiora, you've been my strength, my laughter, and my safe place. I couldn't have asked for a better partner to walk this journey with. Here's to many more years of love and laughter." Their children, sitting in the front row, clapped enthusiastically as their parents kissed, sealing their vows once again. As the evening sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Obiora and Miriam sat side by side, their hands intertwined. Their journey had been one of love, growth, and purpose, and they knew their best days were still ahead. Together, they had built not just a family, but a legacy of love, resilience, and generosity that would continue to inspire all who knew them.